What is up, and welcome to Ask DLF, where the goal of the show is to answer all of your fantasy football questions and to help you dominate your dynasty leagues. I'm Cal. He's Tyler. He's Addison. We're ready to rock and roll. How you guys doing today?
Pretty good.
Addison, I saw you rocking out down there.
Is Addison frozen?
He might be frozen. Look at him. Either that or he's like being like incredibly
He's
still.
so still.
Yeah, he's like so...
Oh, dude, I love that.
No.
Look
Addison.
at that. $1 million on your video tech down there, and you can't get it right.
It's okay. Addison likes juju, so he never gets anything right anyway.
Oh, wow.
Well,
that's offensive.
Let's jump in. Today's episode is brought to you by DynastyLeagueFootball.com. There's a lot of great deals. Make sure you go check out the website and join. You don't want to miss anything right now. Like, this is the time. We got to get things right. People are making a lot of mistakes. People are doing things that they shouldn't because they're nervous or they're trying to get their roster right for the week 1 instead of the end. But there's lots to react to. Let's not overreact. And so make sure you do hit the subscribe button so you can see that $1 million camera work in operation, like in its normal capacity on the screen. Addison's doing a lot of great work there. And if you have not been a part of the show before, we are taking questions from you, and you are going to dictate whatever we talk about on this show. So this is the way it's going to work. Right here, we come in, we see Frank Silva right away. He traded Gus Edwards and Pierre Strong for Brian Robinson. Wants to know our thoughts on Brian Robinson this year overall in Dynasty. Good time to also probably talk about Antonio Gibson and his work on the punt team? Question mark. Tyler, what are we thinking there?
Oh, it could be better. I mean, he really shouldn't be on the punt team. I'd take Robinson in this trade.
See, I like Gus Edwards, but I guess, Robinson's younger, maybe has more upside because we don't really know exactly what he is. And Edwards, at least ideally, is always going to be behind J.K. Dobbins. So I like it. I think Pierre Strong has opportunity next year without Damian Harris, is my assumption that Damian Harris is not going to be on the team. So we'll see how that goes. But all in all, I think I would take Brian Robinson here. I do like him, and hopefully y'all have been paying attention because I know myself, Tyler, a lot of other people have been saying that this is not a good thing for Antonio Gibson whenever Brian Robinson was drafted. And boy, did that first preseason game just definitely not help anything for him. So, I really like Brian Robinson a lot.
I think Brian Robinson is is a decent fallback option, better than anything they had last year. But like Addison, do you think he's special? Do you think he's the kind of back that could actually be a thing for us?
Special? No, I don't think he's special, but I think that he could be a very serviceable back. He could be, a David Montgomery or a Josh Jacobs, I think, as like his ultimate kind of ceiling if he does get that kind of workload, or potentially be what Antonio Gibson has been for the past couple of years, which has just been, like 250 carries and not much receiving workload, even though we know that Gibson could be a receiver. They just haven't used him that way. Robinson could get that kind of volume as well. It's just that I think would be like his ultimate upside, which I don't think necessarily makes him special. But I still think, serviceable. He just needs the volume to get there, which that's a whole different story in and of itself.
Tyler, is he somebody you'd advise people to target to trade for right now?
I mean, no, not anymore. Before, yes, when he was a value. I mean, I did during the rookie season, and I stand by it. I called him Boring Robinson. That's what he is. Boring Robinson, because he's boring. He's just okay. He's just okay. I don't want him. I don't really want him per se. It's Gibson I don't want. I mean, they obviously don't trust Gibson. It's very clear. And Gibson's value is going to go up in smoke very soon. I don't want any part of him. So you can. Washington is a bad offense. I mean, if it's a split backfield, McKissick is there too. I mean, I don't know. You want that backfield split 3 ways? No. It would be. I mean, they could have nobody in the top 30, 40. Really.
Mm-hmm.
What about, so I'm just looking through the trade finder right here. I see that Brian Robinson was traded for a 23 first. That's obviously a smash. Take the first.
Yeah. Okay.
What about this one that's was just a couple days ago for a second and third? Would you do that? Would you trade Brian Robinson away right now for a
Yeah, I would.
23 second and third?
Yep. I'll take that.
All right. Appreciate that question, Frank. If you have a question, go ahead and use the live chat right there in YouTube or on Facebook. We can take those as well if you're one of the few and proud that are viewing us on Facebook, but it's fun on YouTube. Make sure you go come hang out with this fun crew, including Sean, who's always hanging out and asking us questions. Always appreciate that. 12-team Superflex start 10. Trevor Lawrence or Cooper Kupp? Pretty good question right here. Tyler?
I'll take Trevor Lawrence. With the way I play, even if I have ranks. I mean, I rank Cooper Kupp in a certain place, but remember that my ranks have to cover everything. They have to cover everything. They have to cover existing leagues. They have to cover if you have him, if you don't have him. They have to kind of balance all of that. So what I want in return for Cooper Kupp is whatever, but I can't imagine I would ever draft Cooper Kupp in a startup at his current cost. So I'll just take Trevor Lawrence.
I know how much you love Trevor Lawrence, Addison.
No, he doesn't.
I do. I love him. Yeah, so much. But I would take Trevor.
He has
Lawrence.
better hair than you. He has better hair than
I'll
you.
give him that. He has a lot.
Not that
of
it would
better
be
things than
difficult to
me.
do that, but he does have better hair than you.
Ouch.
I'm really woke up on the wrong side of the bed today.
Yeah,
but you do have a really nice shirt. That's one of the important things.
Thank you.
You have a very nice shirt from BetSperts today, and I think that they, would really like to see that.
This is one of the most comfortable shirts I've ever worn in my life, too.
This one's pretty good. This is a DLF shirt.
Oh yeah, this is like soft. I love it. I'm gonna buy like 3 more.
Yeah, I'd be fine if BetSperts
Cal,
wanted to
where's
send me
your
one.
company-related shirt? You don't seem to have one.
I
We're gonna.
don't.
If people from BetSperts or DLF are watching, can you please send Cal some?
I will absolutely
swag.
rep whatever company. Yeah, it doesn't even have to be one of those. Send me if you have.
Oh my
a
God.
business shirt. Send it to me.
I don't give me any ideas.
Mark says in a 2-keeper league where did you say who you wanted? You didn't
Trevor
say
Lawrence.
anyone. Okay. In a 2-keeper league where one keeper is 1 year only and the other is a 3-year keeper, value is seconds up from where they were drafted
2
the year
rounds.
before. Oh, 2 rounds up. There we go.
Yeah.
I can keep Deshaun Watson as a 16th round and 14th, 12th, the next 2. Is that worth it?
This is on a show. This
Holy
kind of question just goes
moly.
way over my head.
In a
I
super
mean, I
flex,
guess so,
no.
but if it's super flex, yeah.
I wouldn't keep him if not. In a 1 QB, I would not.
No, in a 1 QB, you got to have better choices. But in a super flex, obviously, yeah.
Man, I don't know. Even in a 1 QB league, like Deshaun Watson next
QB
year in a 1 QB is going to be a.
You're not going to sit on an ad.
sixth-round
You're not going to
pick.
sit on a quarterback all year in a 1 QB to wait for him to come back next year.
Yeah, I guess that's a good
doesn't
point.
sound-
That's just
that
such
sounds
a value,
like a
though.
terrible idea.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. So,
But if it's a super flex, absolutely, yeah, of course.
Yep.
Todd Radmaker, 12-team Superflex CEH for Spiller. I assume that's Isaiah Spiller.
Isaiah Spiller. Yeah.
And a 23 second. Which side would you rather?
Spiller side. I don't.
Spiller side easily. I take.
we
the
don't
second
want-
over CH.
Yeah, me too. We don't want failure,
Ooh.
right? I did a discussion of the Kansas City backfield and how much I like Isaiah Pacheco because they have the most failure in one backfield. I mean, CEH 2 years of failure, Rojo 4 years of failure, and then the big one, actually the biggest one, the most failure is how many years of failure can you assign to Jerick McKinnon? How many years of failure can you give Jerick McKinnon? I feel like it's at least 6. So 12 years of failure in the Kansas City backfield. So they're not really very prepared. So I don't know. I'll take,
I was a little encouraged by whoever has this job in seeing I saw a breakdown on some of the formations seeming to go back to some throwback Andy Reid Philadelphia style running game that he really hasn't had in Kansas City. And that gave me a little bit of encouragement for whoever is. And if it is CEH, that could be pretty good things if he stays healthy. When he's healthy, he gets the work.
Yeah. We'll see. It's just like CEH is at like a mile. Would you trade Miles Sanders for Isaiah Spiller in a second?
Yeah.
That's
yes.
the same thing.
Well, no, it's Miles Sanders is way lower.
Sure, but I'm just like
Miles Sanders is not
if you
participating right now. He's not participating.
That's true.
I mean, why would he be participating? I mean, he never participates in anything. So this should come as no surprise. But he is moving down. He's outside of my top 100 assets, even in a 1 QB. And yeah, I have him at running back 35 in Dynasty now at this point.
I don't feel like that's much farther below ADP. Isn't he like 28 or 29?
Yeah, but you know, I really think he could be running back 55, and it really wouldn't matter.
Well, behind Isaiah Spiller, no less. And then you get the second. So
Yeah, he's
easy.
RB 28 in the last, right behind Clyde Edwards-Helaire, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, here we go. This is a question that I'm going to need somebody to explain to me. What kind of bender would you be if you were in Avatar?
So do you know the Avatar? This is not the blue people Avatar. This is
the Avatar, the Last Airbender.
The Airbender. So
Okay.
where you can bend the 4 elements: fire, water, earth, and air. Or you could be like Aang, can bend all of them. And there's also like metal bending and all that other kind of stuff. But
Oh my God.
it's basically the 4 main elements. If you could control by bending, it really just means control. So if you could control one of the elements, which would it be?
Probably fire. I feel like that's perfect for me, right? I mean,
I could see it. Mine would be water.
Yeah, I think water is scary.
Water's everywhere.
Yeah, I think it'd be water. Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
well, fire, I mean, you can create out of nothing. So
And then he asked what my favorite anime is, and I don't think I can name an anime. So, like, I think I'm going to hand this
I'm
off
sure
to you
you
guys.
can.
I don't think I can.
Can he?
Actually.
Try
I'm not
one.
sure I can name an anime.
I think you could.
Is Pikachu an anime?
Almost.
Okay, that's the best I got.
Yeah, I'd call Pokemon an almost anime.
Okay,
just
all
like
no,
Yu-Gi-Oh.
Pokemon is an anime.
Yeah.
okay.
Or like
I'm
Dragon
sorry
Ball
if I
Z.
offended any anime.
Yeah, I'm sure you
lovers
did.
with that. Or Pikachu
okay.
lovers. I don't know. Pokemon.
That's
I'm older than a lot of people think. So.
we never gave the answer.
Oh, I don't have. I can't name one.
Oh well.
Well, do you have
Too
one?
bad they didn't ask me, right?
Do you have one, Tyler?
I mean, Death Note is always good.
Okay.
Mm.
Addison.
It would be Yu-Gi-Oh.
Okay.
But
Yu-Gi-Oh.
dude,
Randy
Maybe old.
loves George Pickens. He's going to be great, but probably not this year. Trubisky can't support Deontay, Freiermuth, Najee, and Pickens. And 70% of rookie QBs fail to produce a top 36 wide receiver. Explain his path to a wide receiver 1 or 2. I don't know that I can. I don't.
There's no path. There's no path to it, really. I mean, the path is, though, let's look at the reality. Look at how Elijah Moore did as a rookie and look at where he's valued now. That's the path to having a lot more value than what he has now. Elijah Moore didn't really do it over a big stretch.
Yep.
That's the path.
The production's going to take a while, I think.
And he didn't do it with a good quarterback either. I mean, I think that's sort of what you're looking at here. And even maybe Amon-Ra St. Brown, you could say to some degree, right? Because he had Jared Goff. It's not like he had this great quarterback.
Right.
So maybe over the second half of the season, I wouldn't expect production right away. He's not a good wide receiver you're starting in week 1, in my opinion.
The one thing I would say is that a lot of people, myself included, have comped George Pickens to a former Georgia wide receiver in AJ Green, who also had a rookie quarterback drafted with him in the same year in Andy Dalton. And AJ Green took off and became AJ Green, you know, that we all knew and loved from so long ago. I think that would be what you would hope that Kenny Pickett would become. I feel like it would be easy to say that Kenny Pickett could be Andy Dalton, but at the same time, that still seems like a pretty high bar to set in a rookie season. Because it's just a whole lot of other stuff out there that I think basically the path for Pickens to be a dynasty wide receiver 1 or 2 comes from us believing that there's a change in his situation coming, or we see enough from him production wise this year that gives us the hope that talent beats his situation.
You have to understand, George Pickens is 5 years younger than Deontay Johnson. Like, he's 21. There's time. I mean, can you even predict what the Steelers situation is going to be in 2 years? How accurately do you think you could predict that?
I wouldn't
2
be able to
years.
predict it by November.
How are you going to do predicting it in 5
Yeah,
years?
exactly.
How are you going to be able to do that? Can you do that? I don't think so.
Do we
I
know
don't
what they're
think
going to
you're
do
gonna
in
be
week
able to do
one? I don't think we even know that yet.
No, we don't even know about. Well, I think week 1. I think it's going to be Mitch Trubisky. But do you even know week 6? You know what it's going to look like week 6? Look,
Right.
and I'll own this mistake. I mean, I was one of the people, and this is a little bit of a different situation, but I was one of the people back in 2020 who said that if Justin Herbert ever made it onto the field, it would be really bad for all of the Chargers to say, whoops, that was bad day, right? Like, I didn't think it was very good. Oopsie. But, maybe Kenny Pickett is good. We don't know. And if he's not good, maybe they find someone else who is good. So if George Pickens is actually talented, I'm not concerned about the surrounding situation. They didn't really want Deontay Johnson. They extended him because I felt like he was going to cause a lot of trouble if they didn't. But it feels like they didn't really want him. If they really wanted him, they would have put him for more years. But they don't really want him. Like, he's someone they've set themselves up that this is really a 1-year extension. It's a 2-year extension is going to be a 1-year extension. They'll be able to get out of that after 2023. So,
Steelers fan, you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, we've talked about this before. I think even last week we talked about how the Steelers' history of not really signing wide receivers outside of Antonio Brown, but you sign Antonio Brown. So I think they're totally fine with just not putting a lot of cap into their offense and putting it more into their defensive side of the ball, which is what they've constantly shown year in and year out, which I guess maybe you could point that as a reason to why, George Pickens' situation in 3 or 4 years anyway might be different, because he might not even be a Steeler because they just recycle wide receivers. But that's so far into the future and we don't even know. And
yeah,
Pickens could be fantastic.
Too much of that. Let's
that's
focus
too
on him
galaxy
being good.
brain,
I think he's good, and good players are players you want in Dynasty. You want good players.
Right.
Sometimes people overcomplicate things.
Jerry
they don't want to
Jeudy-
overcomplicate.
Jerry Jeudy right now, if he has a top 15 wide receiver season in fantasy, I think he's a back-end dynasty wide receiver 1.
Yeah.
So that's the path right there
Yeah.
for George Pickens. Judy's done nothing for 2 years, and yet a top 15 season in his 3rd year is going to lead us to valuing a 23.5 or 24-year-old wide receiver as a back-end wide receiver 1.
Yeah, so I'm not concerned.
Yeah, I agree. We'll move on from him, but I'm sure there will be more to talk about with him later on. Ed chimes in talking about Taco Tuesday. Love it, Ed. Appreciate you being right here in the chat. And yeah, hey, make sure you go ahead while we're here. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button. Go ahead and hit the like button. That's something you make sure that you have to do. It's easy. And also go ahead.
Most rookies don't finish that great over the whole season, but there are quite a few of them who have a good second half. And then what do people remember more? What happened longer ago or what happened more recently? Everyone always remembers what happened more recently. That's why we always get whoever the playoff heroes were. And then your Gabe Davis. That 4-touchdown game was a different game. Wouldn't have made any difference.
Right.
Brandy says we missed a great time at the expo. Hope we can make it next year. I do hope I can get there at some point. I would love to be able to do that.
It looked fun. It looked like the best one that they had yet, and just fell on a bad weekend for me in August. So I'm hoping to go next year, because it just seems like Bob is just building this out to be a fantastic weekend.
It looks absolutely great. I think everyone had a good time. I will almost certainly never be there. I don't like things like that. So yeah. Not my thing. Sorry.
Pato wants our thoughts on Khalil Shakir. And I feel like there's hype around almost every secondary option outside of Stephon Diggs in Buffalo
Crowder
right now.
Everyone except Crowder.
Mm-hmm.
There was earlier, it feels like we just
really
keep cycling through the different, there was Crowder season, then there was Shakir season, then there was, of course, Gabe Davis has been going on all off season, Dawson Knox. Are we
missed the best one out of all of them? Isaiah McKenzie.
Oh, man. Yeah, Isaiah McKenzie. Exactly. What are our thoughts on Shakir? I mean, I think what are the chances of him being a somebody that you're looking to flex at any point this season?
0.
Yeah.
0.
I honestly, I like the Buffalo Bills landing spot for him when he fell to day 3. I like he landed on the Bills because I thought that was a depth chart that he could ascend if he really was a good wide receiver, which I mean, he still could be a good wide receiver, and he's just playing his way up and isn't necessarily there yet. But it's just we haven't really heard anything about Shakir through training camp. Like there hasn't been anything negative, but there really hasn't been anything positive either. It just seems like he's a very valuable depth
player. There has been a few positive things, but not like McKenzie.
Yeah, he's not getting McKenzie hype. He's not getting, I mean, nobody's really getting Dubs hype and stuff like that. But it just seems like he's there, and that's that.
We do have a super chat. Yep,
$20 super chat. That's
Shane.
very, very kind of you,
My
Shane.
man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it, Shane. Yeah, he's trying to figure out a backup or a tight end too. I can consider. I've kept Kelce and Gesicki, which I don't think neither one of us are fans of Gesicki right now, are we?
No, I'm actually in the middle of an article. Not in the middle. I haven't started it yet, but the next article I'm going to be writing outside of the Ask DLF one is about how Mike Gesicki is a waste of your time.
Top 5 tight ends to target, half point PPR. 10. That changes a little bit, the fact that it is half point. Because my first instinct was to say go after someone like Evan Ingram, but I don't know that I want to do that.
I'm a little confused. Like, who's going to be on the waiver wire, though?
Yeah, you're not dropping Mike Gesicki.
No.
Don't do that.
Not yet.
Don't drop Mike Gesicki. I would say, though, depends on who's on your waiver wire. Here, okay, let me be more helpful. So here are some players who could be on your waiver wire that might be worth picking up. How's that? So the first choice, I think, would be Daniel Bellinger for me. He's the most likely best option to actually be on your waiver wire. Sure. He's going to start for the Giants. I mean, I read The Athletic today. They said that he's the number 1 on the depth chart, and it's not even close. So Ricky Seals-Jones is nowhere to be found. Actually, their roster projection had Ricky Seals-Jones not making the team. So, yeah, Daniel Bellinger would be my first choice. And then if he were not available, I mean, Cade Otton, maybe a little, but he's kind of lost a little bit of luster for me.
I was going to say, is Kyle Rudolph on there?
I don't want no. Kyle Rudolph has been irrelevant for years. I don't want Kyle Rudolph. But like, Cade Otton is kind of lost a little bit of luster, but he's still on my list. If you need someone really deep, if we're going really deep, Isaiah Likely potentially could be from Baltimore. But I don't like that they also drafted Charlie Kolar. So it's not even a starter. I mean, Mark Andrews still there. So Isaiah Likely is someone a deeper stash. Yeah, those are some names. Depends on how deep you're really looking. If you want really deep, Andrew Ogletree on the Colts. Jelani Woods has looked like straight crap. I mean, terrible. Absolutely terrible. He looks like he's years away from being ready to play in the NFL. So maybe Andrew Ogletree, if we're talking, it's just like a really deep league. That's an option. So yeah, those are some options. Again, it depends on who's there, but none of those players are going to be dropping Gesicki. So don't drop Gesicki.
Jump in there, Addison.
I'm not a big fan of rostering deep tight ends. I'm just going to wait for them on the waiver wire. I would say if you have a 3rd round pick, a rookie 3rd round pick, and you just wanted to trade that for a tight end, or maybe you wanted to bump Gesicki down to something, and kind of move off Gesicki and still get a solid tight end too. My options, I mean, you probably can't get Albert O. Apparently, according to ADP, Albert O is behind Mike Gesicki, so I'd be for that. Noah Fant, Trey McBride, and then if you have just that 3rd round pick, just as your tight end 3, Robert Tonyan, you could probably get him for a 3rd. And I've been saying he's going to be a top 10 tight end this year. So there, Austin Hooper too would also be on that list.
Yeah, neither Robert Tonyan nor Austin Hooper are going to be anywhere near top 10 tight ends. Austin Hooper is not good. I mean, he's not good at all.
I mean, I don't think Austin Hooper is going to be top 10. I just think if you have a 3rd round pick, I'd rather send a 3rd for Austin Hooper than pick up Isaiah Likely.
I mean, I wouldn't send a 3rd for Austin Hooper. I don't think that's a good use of picks. I don't want to do that.
So I agree with Addison's overall point in that I wouldn't spend too much time like on this aspect. I think you've got Kelce. I think that is a good option for you to have as a tight end. He's a difference maker. So it doesn't look like it's somebody that you need to start. So I think having Gesicki, like we all said, it wouldn't drop him, and I wouldn't roster 3 tight ends unless it's like a really deep league. But if you've been paying attention to me at all, like I'm going to talk about Taysom Hill right here if you give me an opportunity to. So, like, he is really motivated and going to have potential goal line carries. So, I mean, like, there's not many tight ends that you're talking about, and in a league where it's half point PPR, like he could be the kind of player that makes some sort of a difference at some point. So I'm not saying go drop Gesicki for him, but maybe be ready for it in case we get some news or it kind of looks like he's going to play more than we think.
I think we need to have like a shock button for you. And every time you mention Taysom Hill, I press the button and it delivers
Taysom
a zap.
Hill is going to have a better season than Daniel Bellinger or whoever else it was that you named.
I don't know about that. About that.
My final answer is trade Gesicki for Noah Fant in a third because you are never, ever starting any tight end over Travis Kelce, ever. So you're right. I think you want a guy that you can kind of build for the future with and hope a situation gets better. And to me, that's Noah Fant at a super cheap price right now.
But didn't you see that the Seahawks just traded for new tight end JJ Arcega-Whiteside?
JJ Arcega-Whiteside. Yeah. No, I don't care.
Okay.
I'm going to come back to this real quick and just like, is this one of those things where we keep saying with Buffalo, like, okay, it's a great offense. We want pieces of that offense, but like, haven't we done that with Green Bay for forever? And like, basically nobody but Devontae Adams has been good for us.
Sure. But maybe there's a good player this time. I don't know. I mean, that's how it works.
It doesn't feel like any of these players are any more than like an MVS or Alan Lazard or
Kansas City was kind of that way.
Gabe Davis is significantly better than Alan Lazard.
Kansas City too. Yeah, there's a lot of great examples. Just because it's a great offense doesn't mean there's going to be like if they're spreading the ball around, it doesn't. We're not going to like it for fantasy. Nathan Fletcher, my 12-man PPR Dynasty rookie draft is in 3 days. I have pick 4 and 8. Who should I be targeting if I'm stacked in all positions? Yep, you shouldn't be worried about your positions at all. You should be looking for best value. Who do you have as your 4th and 8th ranked player right here? We'll start with you, Addison.
So now, yeah. Well, things keep changing in my rookie ranks. At this point now, Drake London has become number 2. Kenneth Walker was 3, but now it looks like he's going to miss a significant time.
Half the year.
We'll have to see half the year. So that would be very bad.
Potentially.
So I guess I'd be targeting Garrett Wilson at 4. I need to know how much time Kenneth Walker is going to miss.
I've seen that if it goes to surgery, it's basically what Rashad Bateman did last year.
Oh, that's bad. Yeah.
So I guess that was 6 weeks, I guess.
Yeah. Pete Carroll says that he has a little hernia thing.
Yeah, it doesn't know what it means.
Doesn't know what it means. Yeah, that's nuts.
It's kind of dicey. It's kind of scary. I still think Kenneth Walker can be solid. It's just if you're
I'm a little concerned about what that means.
I'd still take Treylon Burks at 4. And 8 would be I can't even think of who is at 8 right now. Sky Moore. Oh. One of the two. Sky Moore.
I have Sky Moore at 8.
Yeah.
One of the two.
Cool. Yeah, and hit us up if anything goes crazy there, Nathan. Hit us up because we'd love to help. Zach says 10 team, 1 QB, half PPR, Josh Allen or DJ Moore, Deshaun Watson, Dobbins, and a 25 first.
Holy moly.
It's a DJ Moore. I mean, DJ Moore and 1 QB is worth more than Josh Allen.
Yes.
So,
yeah.
I'd do that in 1 QB or Superflex. So,
yeah, this is crazy.
Holy moly.
Amazing trade. I guarantee you this league is in Buffalo or Wyoming. One of the two.
Gotta be.
12-team Superflex, half PPR, tight end premium. I was offered Mike Williams for Dalton Schultz. Already have Dallas Goedert, but could use help at wide receiver. Should I take it?
Mm-hmm.
I do have Mike Williams higher.
Yeah, I'd take Mike Williams.
Mm-hmm.
I would always lean towards the tight end or the wide receiver usually in these kind of situations.
Mm-hmm. Yep, I'm with you on that. P to the R, Taco Tuesday. Trio is back, ready for a great show. Happy to have you in here, P to the R. Appreciate your
Thank
support.
you.
Pato 10 team, Superflex, Knox, and a 23 first for Kelce and Osborne.
I'll take Knox in the 23 first.
Yeah, that's the right answer. Unfortunately.
I know.
It's tough.
Because I feel like Kelce could very quickly prove to be worth more than this.
The problem is that
or he could fall off and be worth none of this. So
every year we're just the age thing every year with Kelce.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but the difference is that he was defying the age, and then 2021 was not defying the age. He looked way worse in 2021 than 2020.
I mean,
people don't remember it
the
because
tight
it
end
was,
won up until like week 15.
Yeah, but people don't remember it. But he was not nearly the same. He wasn't the same numbers wise. He wasn't the same player. It was it's easy when you go from by far the best tight end in the league to just maybe the best or near the top, then you don't notice it. But I mean, he went from difference making world beater to not that. People don't want to talk about that.
Yeah.
If you look at the number, I mean, the decline is significant, not minimal. We're talking like 25% of the yards per game gone. We're talking about a lot of the receptions gone.
He did have his third best points per game season ever, though. Like,
oh, sure.
It was down from 2020, but it was higher than 2019, higher than 17, 16, 15. I mean, he was still a really good. He just wasn't that 20-point per game.
And now he's about to have 170 targets. So
yeah, that's kind of what I'm thinking.
It was the least yards per game, and yards is, I would say, it was the least yards and least receptions per game in the Mahomes years, and that matters the most.
But I think that offense changed a lot too, because Tyreek Hill was a lot. His air yards were down too.
He just didn't. There were moments last year, many more moments where he didn't look elite. There were more of them. There were more of them. There were whole weeks where he wasn't quite as good, where he wasn't quite the same. You didn't have that in 2020 at all, and even less so in 2018 and 2019. But last year there were some moments where that was like, are we starting to see the age a little?
I mean, he looked like a 32-year-old man out there running with 22-year-olds. So
an elite 32-year-old man,
right?
But 32-year-old man, all the same.
Right. Yeah. Can I interject in here real quick, because Shane had the follow up. Apparently, Noah Fant, Alberto, and Evan Ingram are all on the waiver wire.
Well, I'd rather have Fant or Alberto straight up.
Yes.
Over Gesicki.
Yes.
I don't want Gesicki at all.
I'd want Alberto the most, probably.
I'd want Fant more.
If they're both on the waiver wire, I will roster both.
Me too.
It's got to be a very shallow league.
Apparently, yeah. But
or a limit on how many tight ends it can roster, maybe?
I don't know. But I just feel like I would try to find a way to have both.
Yeah.
I want Alberto for the upside, and if he doesn't work out, then you can just cut him, and then you have no Fant.
Yeah. If I knew that these guys were on the waiver wire, I wouldn't have said Taysom Hill. But I mean, to me, if it wasn't half point PPR, I think Evan Ingram could be good too. I'm kind of excited to see what that offense looks like.
Sheesh. Fant and Alberto on the waiver wire.
12-team Superflex, half PPR, start 10, gave T. Higgins, Bellinger, your boy, Tyler. Gainwell got Elijah Moore, AJ Dillon, and a 23 second.
It's just okay. It doesn't feel good enough, really.
I like it. I feel like you could have gotten a little more.
I'll take Higgins.
I'll take the Elijah Moore side. I like that. I like the upside that's going to happen over there. But I feel like with the way that Moore and Dillon are currently valued and the way Higgins is currently valued, I feel like you could have gotten a little bit more.
Yeah.
But I like it. I don't mind it.
Molly, In a 12-team Superflex PPR, start 9. Rebuilding, give Claypool 23-second. Projected early, 24-second. Get Deontay Johnson and a 23-third.
Johnson.
Deontay.
Claypool is not worth much.
Don't want him. Deontay.
If this is Molly's 23-second projected early, I don't think Deontay is who I'd be trying to acquire. But if it's not, then I can see it. Does that make sense?
I think you could go to Deontay, then move Deontay for something else.
Good.
Like if
This is definitely a good deal.
Week 2, Deontay Johnson has put up 2 16-point games, and DK Metcalf has yet to put up 4 receptions. Could you trade Deontay for DK Metcalf, like that kind of thing? You know, I feel like there's more opportunities just by having Deontay Johnson because the value's on that side than with Claypool in 2 seconds.
It's easily Deontay Johnson.
Yeah.
Isley, big trade yesterday. 10-team Superflex PPR, start 10. Got Kyler, 23-second, 24-second. Gave Drake London, 223 first. What are your thoughts?
Kyler, still.
10-team?
Yeah.
Yeah, even so.
Yeah. Well, because you got 2 seconds back, so it mitigates it a little bit. If the seconds weren't there, I could see the London side, but the seconds help give a little bit of a value buffer.
Yeah, Kyler can be that difference maker for sure. Grimley traded the 3-5 and 9-5 for the 6-1 and 5-2 and a 12-team Superflex half tight end premium startup. What are your thoughts? Interesting. 3-5 and 9-5.
I'm annoyed that you put 6-1 before 5-2.
Yeah, I'll go with the 502 side, I guess. But it is hard to visualize that. But I'll go with the 502 side.
Yeah, I think it is the 502.
It's close though.
Yeah. No, I'll take the 502 and the 601. I'm with it.
3-5, you're looking at what? What's that pick number? What?
29th overall.
Okay. So
I mean, according to ADP, you could have quarterbacks like Justin Fields or Tua. That's not.
But who's in the 5-2-6-1 range? What are we looking at there?
Not quarterbacks that we want.
63.
not quarterback that we
I don't
want
know.
for sure.
I still would lean.
I don't think I'm making that move. Like if I'm at 305, I'm probably not taking a quarterback there anyway.
Probably not.
So this is more of a move where I see I'm doing a 2-for-1 where I'm getting the 2 skill players instead of the 1. And I'm just trying to increase my odds of upside and value.
Maybe if you're trying to go up and get an AJ Brown, something like that.
I mean, I like that, but
and you're giving up like, I'm trying to see. It's like, well, you know, you got like Deontay Johnson is somewhere around that 502 range.
I'd imagine ETN might be somewhere ish around there. Drake
Probably.
London.
I don't see him, but probably somewhere around there. Yeah, Drake London.
Jerry
and
Jeudy.
ETN right there too. Yep. Yeah, so I think I'd rather the 5 and the 6. Unless a quarterback falls to 3-5 that I have to go up and get. Zay Collier ranked these wide receivers: Sutton, Bateman, Williams, and Burks. Tyler, how do you have them?
Bateman, Burks, Sutton, Williams.
I think it's Burks, Sutton, Bateman, Williams.
Ooh,
for me.
Sutton, Burks, Bateman, Williams for me.
You did what I didn't have the strength to do. I wanted to put Sutton first, but Tyler scared me a little.
I'm getting more and more in on Sutton.
Why,
man?
They're
both going to be wide receiver 1s.
They're not. They're not. They're not. They're not.
I'm with it.
I don't
I'm
understand.
getting pulled in a little bit because it's for the same reason we want to knock the weapons in Seattle, because they're going from Russell Wilson to Drew Lock, right? It's like the opposite effect. And now we've got Courtland Sutton, who has produced with a bad quarterback before, and now he gets Russell Wilson. I don't know. I'm getting kind of excited about what that offense could look like.
Yep. I want Sutton and Jeudy. I want both of them.
Daniel Shaver, first year startup. I ended up with Jackson, Dobbins, Bateman, and Andrews. Ravens fan. LJ is a backup. Okay, 33-man roster, 5-man taxi. Should I be looking to get rid of any of them?
I
I'm
mean, if you
assuming
want
one
to,
QB league.
like, I'm fine getting rid of Dobbins. I've always been fine getting rid of Dobbins, but not because you have too many players from the Ravens. No, I wouldn't worry about that.
Yep. I am moving players because I think that you could do better with some other options. You know, like I feel like if Lamar Jackson is your backup, that's telling me that this is probably a 1 QB league.
Mm-hmm.
And if Lamar Jackson is your backup, that means you've got Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, or maybe you're high on Justin Herbert or Burrow or Kyler. But you have what that's telling me is you have 2 of those guys. So I want to trade one of them. It doesn't have to be Lamar. Honestly, it's probably whoever I get the most for. And so one of those 2 is gone. I like trading Bateman because I think his value is really high right now, and I don't think that he produces to that value. So I think his value is going to drop. And so I'm good getting rid of him as well. If you can move Dobbins, I'm also good with that too. It's just, I mean, the only one that I really am not super interested in moving is Andrews, unless you get good value and you can easily move from Andrews to Pitts for a good price, or, you know, any sort of that kind of situation. But I feel like Lamar is the one I'm trying to get rid of the most because apparently he's your backup in a 1 QB.
And I like what you said about trading whoever it is you have in front of Lamar, and just having Lamar as your quarterback. That's good too. Andrews I agree with you. Andrews is the one that I want to move the least right here. I just pulled up the trade finder for Rashad Bateman because I feel like he's a hard player to trade away right now. The first one I came to was Rashad Bateman for Antonio Gibson. I don't like that one at all.
Okay, don't do that.
Then I've got Rashad Bateman and a third for Josh Palmer and a first and second.
Yeah, I would do that.
Definitely do that. Rashad Bateman and a fourth for a 23 second. No, that's not enough.
No, not enough.
And let's see. First year startup. I wonder how many experienced players are in this. You might could get a 23 first for Bateman.
I would take it for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm totally in on that. I would probably take a 23 first for Dobbins as well.
Me too.
So,
Me too.
There, you got 2 future firsts.
Or why don't you try to trade Dobbins and try to get like Elijah Moore or somebody like that? See if you can pull off something like that.
Mm-hmm.
That might be.
Or stay within the position. Move to. I know Tyler really likes Cam Akers, so he would probably really like you to move off of Dobbins to Cam Akers, or, you know, go up a little bit and maybe go towards. I mean, maybe you could get a Javonte Williams if you trade Dobbins and Bateman for Javonte. I don't know. These are just things I'm throwing out right now.
I like that.
You know,
I don't usually think too much about the team in terms of like, you know, like having a bunch of players on the same team, but this is more than I'd be comfortable with for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. So if you move Dobbins and Bateman, you can move the other quarterback. Then you have a Jackson Andrews stack, which would be nice. And then you're good to go. Then that's all you got to root for. You don't got to worry about the Ravens scoring 40 points every week for your fantasy lineup to work.
Yep. Yeah. You ended up with 2 quarterbacks too high end. If this is a 1 QB league, you drafted QB too high.
Yes. So
you probably need to go get some running backs or wide receivers is my guess. So trade at least one of them. Pato chiming back in. Love it. Keep those questions coming in. Would you trade a 23 second for Christian Kirk or Chase Edmonds?
I would for Kirk, not for Edmonds.
Ooh.
Yeah, me too.
Is it because you love Myles Gaskin still?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
I still love the upside of Raheem Mostert. So, I mean, no, Chase, I just don't want to trade a second for a Chase Edmonds level running back, you know?
I was looking at Edmonds, Mostert, and then I was thinking about, you realize how much speed that the Dolphins have added this offseason? When you add in Tyreek Hill, like, I mean, that's going to be a fast team.
Yes. I'm telling
you,
fast team. All Tua needs to do is just dump it off to somebody, because when they run 75 yards to the house, those are fantasy points for Tua.
Yep. That's going to happen a lot this year, I think.
Yeah. Yep.
To Mostert, to like, he's got quite a few people he can do that too. Anyway, all right. 23 second. I don't think I would do it for either one of these players. I think you do better.
Well, that's possible. But I would do it for Kirk. If these are your only options, I would do it for Kirk.
I'd rather have Kirk.
Yeah.
I'd wait. Either way. Pierce or a 23 second.
Damian Pierce or Alec Pierce?
I'm assuming Damian
The
Pierce
answer
because
is
he's
the
all
second
hot
for both.
right now.
Yeah. It's probably I guess it's probably still the second, but Damian Pierce, I think, is looking very good. And I do think that there's a good chance that he's gonna have fantasy value this year.
Sure. Might not be great, but sure. Value. I tweeted it out. The last time the Texans had a 1,000-yard rusher was back in 2019. You might not remember, but it was Carlos Hyde.
Carlos
He was
Hyde,
1,000-yard rusher in 2019.
1,070
averaged
yards.
under 10 PPR points per game.
Happens.
So, there you go.
I saw lots of notes saying that Dan Mullen, who is it? What's his name? The guy that was the Florida coach? Was it Dan Mullen?
I don't know.
That he should retroactively be fired again from the Florida job for not giving Damian Pierce some more carries.
Just go find my tweet about Damian Pierce taking over the backfield from like May, and you can just read all the comments.
Yeah.
And that was they're recovering it. They recovered it before the game. Whenever they said there were beat reporters saying that he was the clear number one, and I'm like, dope. It's like August 2nd. They didn't say anything about a preseason game, so we'll see how that is because he didn't run with the ones. But yeah, just whatever.
Eddie, happy Taco Tuesday, guys. Happy Taco Tuesday. Eddie, which side here for you? Breece Hall and a 23 second or Antonio Gibson, Garrett Wilson, and James Cook? This one's easy, I think.
It's Breece Hall.
Breece Hall.
Yeah. We don't want the Gibson Cook side.
No, we don't want it.
I like Wilson, but
Wilson's dropping in value, though.
It's crazy that, like, because Garrett Wilson and James Cook in probably a lot of leagues are both first-round picks. So essentially, you're saying Gibson in 2 firsts doesn't get you Breece Hall.
Apparently not.
And I guess a second. But yeah
apparently
that's where we're at. Apparently. That might be a combination of this class and Antonio Gibson's falling value. But, I mean, I really like Breece Hall too. But, yeah, that's just, when you think of it that way, it's kind of crazy.
it's true. I just think everybody's so scared of Antonio Gibson right now.
I mean, they should be.
Yeah.
They
I'll
should
take
be.
whatever, almost whatever at this point.
Scuba Steve, would you combine Amari Cooper and a 23 second to get any of the following? Sutton, Mooney, or Amon St. Brown?
Yes, any of them. And I'd rather have Amon-Ra.
I feel like you don't need to add a second.
I mean, if you're listening to me, you do. But,
Well, sure. But I feel like the general, in the general Dynasty League that is not being advised by Tyler, I don't feel like you need a second bridges the gap between a lot of these guys. I honestly think it would be relatively close in terms of the people who believe that you need to add to Cooper or add to any of those other 3.
That's crazy to me.
I feel like that would be relatively close. It might be like 60-40, 65-35 that feel like they need to add to Cooper, but
Crazy. It really is. I mean, Amari Cooper really was not so good last year.
yeah, but people's, if Deshaun Watson plays,
Right. Deshaun Watson has produced so much more. He's produced so much better in the passing game than Dak Prescott. He's been better, right? I mean, he's produced more. No, he hasn't. No, he hasn't at all. At all. He hasn't been better at all. Ever. Why would he be better now? I don't understand it.
I'm just saying what people out there might be saying. So
Amari Cooper looked washed up last year. Washed up. He looked like crap. And there's a reason the Cowboys had to give him away. No one wanted him. He looked like garbage. Trade for someone else.
I would try
Get
to
rid
trade
of him. Get rid of him while you can.
Try to trade him straight up for
Any of these.
Sutton, Amon-Ra, and then Mooney in that order.
Any of them. Any of them would be great.
I
Offer him
would
straight
add a
up.
second to get Mooney for sure. But I would do it for Sutton and Amon-Ra if
I want Amon-Ra the most by far of these 3. Mooney has no real upside. to me.
Cal and I
Mooney
want
is what he is.
Huh?
Cal and I want Sutton.
I do.
Sutton has
But
more
I love
upside than
Monroe
Mooney.
too. Mooney's the one that I don't want out of this.
I like Mooney.
I like Mooney. I just don't. I think
Right.
he, especially of all these guys, is not the guy that you add a second to Cooper to go get.
Definitely not.
Yeah.
12 team Superflex, half PPR, start 3 wide receivers. No flex. Would you trade Devonta Smith and Judy for Pittman and Melvin Gordon? My other wide receivers are Godwin, Terry, Deontay, Boyd, and others.
I'd say no.
No.
I mean, it's not the worst thing you could do, but I think I'd rather have Smith and Judy.
Yep.
But it's not awful.
Just wait till Jerry Judy outperforms Michael Pittman. The fantasy community is
It's
going
very
to be
unlikely.
up in arms. This is going to be a freaking riot the way that we've raised Michael Pittman to be in a dynasty wide receiver 1 right now, just because he got Matt Ryan as a quarterback. I mean, I don't hate it, but come on.
I will say that I have Michael Pittman ranked as a dynasty wide receiver 1.
I don't hate it. I just, he feels like DJ Moore, who could just be great, but because we've raised him to this level.
Sure, but Michael Pittman has a better quarterback than DJ Moore has ever had.
Well, I mean, I'm not going to argue that.
So
DJ Moore also has the best quarterback he's ever had right now currently.
Yeah, and I do have concerns about that. I'm looking at that, and I have DJ Moore ranked ahead of Michael Pittman, and now I'm not so sure.
I want a Judy. I think Judy has the same ceiling as Pittman, and I want Devonta Smith over my Melvin Gordon. That's my easy summation.
Michael Pittman or Deontay Johnson?
Michael Pittman.
Michael Pittman or Drake London?
Pittman, you're going the wrong way.
I'm going up.
Oh, that's not up to me.
Michael, that's according to ADP, it is. Michael Pittman or Chris Godwin?
Pittman.
Godwin. Okay.
We're finding my Pittman hate. But I don't even think it's hate. I feel like I want to be a little bit more realistic about where we're at with Michael Pittman.
I am being realistic.
Interesting.
We'll see.
I think I'm being realistic anyway.
But I like Devonta Smith and I like Judy, so this isn't a deal that I'm doing.
Yep.
Unless the other piece I was getting other than Gordon was better.
Yep.
Najee Harris or DeAndre Swift, 1 QB, half PPR. Lots of people getting a little nervous about DeAndre Swift and all of the love for his more charismatic backfield mate, Jamal Williams.
In half PPR, I'll take Najee Harris.
I'll take Swift.
Yeah, I'll take
He's a
Swift.
year younger.
We were worried about him. Remember they called him the RB1A or something, Jamal Williams last year?
That was funny.
Yeah. Honestly, that's probably one of those trades that whatever side I have, I'm not doing.
It's also funny because Najee Harris has more receptions in a season than DeAndre Swift has ever had.
Oh, because he stayed healthy.
Yeah, that's true. Swift has never played more than 13 games.
Yeah.
He's actually played exactly 13 both years.
12 team, half PPR, trade Andrews and Pickens for Dallas Goedert, Garrett Wilson, and Olave.
I'm going to say no. Just keep Andrews. Yeah, I'll say no.
Yeah. Yep, I agree with it.
Maybe with Pickens' old value, this was better. But now, I think Pickens is worth too much.
Right.
So
I think Pickens could be over Olave at this point for a lot of people.
He isn't for me, but I could see that.
He's getting there. So if it's got it for Garrett Wilson, is this essentially kind of where we're at?
I mean, I'd rather have Pickens over Goddard at this point, and then I'd rather have Andrews over Wilson and Olave. So even if you break it down that way, still take the Andrews side.
Yep, we're good.
Conlon Wing, do we like Dobbins in a second for Sky Moore?
Yes.
Oh, you
I mean
Dobbins?
Yeah, no, I take Dobbins for sure. I mean, I'd rather have Dobbins over Moore straight up. So yeah. Dobbins in a second easily.
Yeah. Sky Moore still has a lot to prove. I like Sky Moore, but I don't know.
Yeah. I have Sky Moore ranked ahead of Pickens, and I don't that might not last very much longer.
Open 24 hours, 12 team, half PPR, no tight end premium, 6 points passing TD, start 1 QB, two running backs, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex, can keep any 2 at no cost. Mixon, Javonte, Aaron Jones, Kelce, Pitts, have pick 112. Who to keep?
Keep
Congrats on winning the
two,
championship
as
last
in
year.
you're keeping only 2 ever. So that's
Looks like
basically redraft. So if you're keeping 2 in redraft, I think I would take Mixon and Kelce then. Yeah, Mixon and Kelce.
I think I'd go Javonte and Pitts.
Oh, it's a redraft essentially, though. If you're only keeping 2.
But I feel like Pitts could be, he's like an 8 touchdown season away from being a top 5 pick in redraft next year.
I think there's a decent chance that you get Kyle Pitts at 112 if you wanted that so badly.
Yeah,
but if I'm already keeping Kelce, then I wouldn't have 2 of those guys anyway. But
I'm fine just keeping Mixon and Javonte and keeping running backs. I don't have a problem with that.
That works too.
Yeah, to me, it's between
I don't
Mixon,
think there's a
Javonte,
bad
and
decision.
Kelce. No, there is. Keeping Aaron
Yeah.
Jones would be a bad choice. Keeping Aaron Jones would be bad. That one we don't want to do.
I guess
You don't
you're
think he's
right.
going to be good in redraft this year?
I
get
have
it,
Aaron Jones in
27.
redraft at running back 15, so not really. I have Javonte at 10, and I have Mixon at 9.
I think Jones, though, is the least likely to be kept next year of this group.
Jones, people don't want to hear it, but Jones's floor is very bad. Jones's floor is a disaster. Whereas Mixon and Javonte are not going to burn. If Mixon stays healthy, Mixon is going to be 15 at the worst. If Javonte stays healthy, probably about the same. 15 is like his floor. Whereas Aaron Jones's floor is 30. 30. I mean, his floor is AJ Dillon becomes the workhorse starter and Aaron Jones is a passing downs back. That's the floor. So it's 30 or lower.
Yep.
Yeah.
People don't want to hear that, but that's the reality. So, they can live in their fantasy universe or they can live in the real one. It's up to them.
The fact that you're tossing Kelce and Pitts back mean it's likely if you really care about having a tight end, a difference maker, which I do, you can get one of them probably.
Yeah, you can get one at 112.
Yeah.
At 112.
That's why I would go Mixon and Kelce, though, if were my choice.
As a contender with a strong starting lineup but weak depth, would you buy the depth now or wait in season and buy when if injuries happen?
I don't buy depth in advance, so later.
Definitely later.
Depends on what it is. I mean, look, I'm always willing to make a deal if the deal is good. I mean, if I can get, let me give you an example. Let's say I was a contender. Let's say I could pay a 3rd round pick for Zach Ertz, and I could do that. Maybe I would do that. Maybe that's not so bad. That's the kind of thing I might do. But, am I going to pay a second for, what's a good example? Am I going to pay a second for like Brian Robinson or, a second and a third for Damian Harris? No. Am I going to pay a second plus for Chase Edmonds? No, that kind of thing.
See, that's not the depth I'm targeting. Again, this is if I'm a strong contender and I want to build up my ability to stay that way all season long, I am targeting Darrell Williams, Matt Breida, all these
cancel those plans,
other guys.
Cancel those plans. No, not those. Right idea, wrong players. Right idea, wrong players. Matt Breida has not managed to actually do anything. He hasn't managed to really participate as much as he would have liked. So we don't want
Gus
that.
Edwards.
Gus Edwards not going to play week 1. So if he's not going to play week one.
I have a strong.
Yeah, but who knows when he's going to play? It could be a long time. He doesn't seem anywhere near ready. So I don't want to hear about not ready. And Darrell Williams, as much as I hate Benjamin, Benjamin seems like he's going to be back up. So I don't want.
He was the guy that played and not Darrell Williams.
Yeah. So no, if you want players like that, who would be good? Well, not the ones you named, but
Jeff Wilson,
Jarvis Landry.
I want backup running.
You want backup running backs?
Jamal Williams.
You're targeting running backs.
Jamal Williams.
Marlon Mack.
I'll take Marlon Mack.
Mark Ingram.
Jerome
could
Ford.
be. I mean, Mark Ingram is not Jerome Ford.
I think you could probably pick him up off their waivers potentially.
Potentially. Treston Ebner.
Dante Foreman.
Oh yes, Dante Foreman would be someone I would be interested
Herbert.
in. Khalil Herbert might be a little more expensive with the news about Montgomery.
But I wouldn't really do anything right now, Scuba Steve.
It always depends. I mean, Tyrion Davis-Price has been undervalued the whole time. So if he was undervalued before, if you could get him for his undervalued price, I would pay it.
What's great about a lot of those backup running backs too is if you're already making a deal, just be like, you know what, just toss in Jamal Williams. You
Yeah.
got yourself a deal.
Yeah. Come on, you're gonna lose the deal over Jamal Williams. Come on, man.
Come on, what are we doing here?
I'm really sorry, BJ. I did not mean to make
You asked
about
the
anime
one
question.
person who didn't know the answer.
Yeah, I am just not the right audience for that. But I love all your questions about like name this player and what team does he play for. So keep those coming. Sorry. Josh Dietz, 14 team super flex, average team, sell Devontae Cook, or excuse me, not Devontae Cook, Dalvin Cook. Oh my gosh, Dalvin Cook, Alexander Madison, Tyler Boyd, Devonta Parker, Amon St. Brown, 202 and 214 for Swift, Ayuk, and a second. That's a lot. Let's see.
I'll take the Swift side.
Yes, I would do that. Mhm.
Yeah.
There's a lot of crap on the other side that I don't want. So I'll take the Swift side.
Yeah.
Get out from under Cook while I still can.
Yep.
Ridley Truther, yo guys. Okay. National Joke Day. I don't know. What's up, Ridley Truther? Glad you're here. You guys selling Dameon Pierce for a random 23 second or need more?
Yep.
I feel like you can just let the hype train ride at this point. Because you'll be able to get the 23 second between now and week 1.
That's true.
I want more. Honestly.
Yeah. Me too.
Can I at least get a third with the second? Can I at least get a second and a third? It'll make me feel better about it.
Could you get Ken Walker in a second?
No. I don't think you can.
Maybe.
Could you get Antonio Gibson in a second?
That
Ooh.
maybe.
Ooh.
Yeah. That would be nice. I would do that. Yeah.
Phil wants to move off of CD Lamb. Why, Phil? Why?
Yeah. I don't wanna
Deontay and a
do that.
23 first worth moving him for? Yes, do that.
I don't think I'm doing that.
I'd really rather not. I'd really
doing
rather
that.
not do that.
I think what's stopping me is Deontay. If it was Godwin, DJ Moore, I'm in. But
Deontay's falling in my ranks.
I'm
I'd
scared.
rather not.
I'm just
honestly.
worried. So
So am I.
I don't know why you want to move off CD. I think that might be a separate conversation.
Yeah, that's
that we kind of need to
that's
address.
the more
'cause,
interesting conversation. I don't understand why we want to
don't-
move.
Yeah, I don't know the argument for that one. He's in the best situation of his career right now.
He is.
Yeah, and he's 23. So
I mean, unless I guess if you think that he's not going to be good with it, but
I
don't know. I don't know. Interesting.
This is the kind of deal I'd have to have. But I'd love it to be Jalen Waddle.
that would be
Oh.
better. Yeah, if it were Waddle
Holy
at 23
moly.
first, that would be all in, but it's not.
Yeah. Open 24 hours, 12 teams, 6-point past TD. Keep Mahomes for a 4th round pick or Trey Lance for an 8th round pick.
Lance.
You have about 30 36
Lance.
keepers.
I wouldn't even draft Mahomes in the 4th, so
Yeah, holy
take
moly.
Lance.
Lance.
Isn't Lance playing the Bears in week 1?
Oh, that would be something.
Mahomes is playing the Cardinals, so that game might score 80
Oh,
points.
that's true.
I'll still take Lance though.
Yeah, I want Lance.
Peter wants to know about James Cook's ceiling. Naheem Hines.
No,
Hmm.
James Cook's ceiling is
This year or like
in
ultimate?
general. I mean, he has the upside to be like
Kamara or Swift,
or Eckler.
ETN.
Yeah, so that's his ceiling. Does he hit it? Probably not. I certainly don't have him ranked as if he's gonna hit it.
No. I think the problem is that Singletary takes up too much of the rushing and we're unsure of Cook's utilization even and their usage towards running backs that
I mean, we
that's
know
kind of the
that
risk.
Singletary is the starter.
Mhm.
Right. Which relegates, like what Cal said, that makes him Naeem Hines now.
Mhm.
That's exactly right.
Well,
But his ceiling,
like in
Yeah.
in his dreams, he wants to be Naeem Hines, right? Like that's a good player. Like Naeem Hines is a good NFL player. I think he's going to be
Sure,
a
but James
good
Cook can do
NFL
things-
Buffalo Bill player.
I think the right answer is like James White from 3 years ago. I think that's what you're going
James
for.
Cook is
Cal.
better on the
Yeah.
ground, though, than either James White or Naeem Hines ever was.
Right, but at least the role that he's
Is
in
he?
right now, currently, is probably more James Whitey.
What
And then
like
if
what
he
is Cook
I mean, he could also. I
done?
mean, there's also the upside of him being like, you have players that were more receivers and then like turn into, as they become the starter, turn into more rushers. That's your Kenyon Drake path.
Yeah,
You have that,
Chase
and
Edmonds.
then a disaster. But yeah, so I don't know. His ceiling
Tony
is
Pollard.
yeah, some sort of RB1. I mean, if it all comes together, but I'm not counting on that.
In 15 games, he had 728 rushing yards last year for the Georgia Bulldogs.
That's right. He was still the best running back on this team last year. Take
That's
that.
true.
I just don't know. Like, I think I think we look at landing spot and we're like, ooh, and he's the one that got bumped up around or more. That shouldn't have. He's a good player, but I just don't think he's.
Yeah.
Mike wants to know, as a team that is likely not a strong contender this year, would you move Tyreek for a mid to late 23 first, 14 team superflex?
Brutal. It's this or nothing.
Yeah,
I'd rather take this over nothing.
Can you get a second?
With it, yeah, that would be nice.
I don't think I'm doing this for this. I feel like you could get a first in season.
Yeah. I agree. And then the upside is Tyreek is still kind of ish Tyreek. Like the Dolphins are great and Tyreek is great to where you could get more.
Right.
Yeah.
But if Tyreek is still just, if Tyreek is a wide receiver too, I think you could still get a first.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. And then maybe go after if a wide receiver, young wide receiver gets hurt, or you got something like that you can go after. Like maybe you do that in a first, or I just feel like I'd rather not try to cash this chip in now if I can help it.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Ed, answer question. BJ, how far will I go with this starting lineup? 1 QB 12 team. He's got Herbert, Eckler, Monty, Mitchell, Higgins, Burks, Judy, Davis, Kelce.
Ooh.
I mean, I think you go pretty far, right?
I think you are median range, a wild card playoff team. I think
Kelce helps in the short term.
Yeah. I think the upside, you could win this thing if Davis hits, if Judy hits. Downside, Judy and Davis are both wide receiver 3s, and one of your running backs gets hurt, and you're not a playoff team.
It's not a bad team.
No, I do like it.
Yeah.
You're just hinging on a couple guys there to really, bust the roof open.
Fantasy Condo traded Tyreek Hill for a 23 first. So kind of what we talked about.
I like it better in a 10 team. That first,
yeah.
You don't have the 11 through 14 and the range of outcomes for that first.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Etienne and Waddle or Chase?
Still Chase.
Man. We're so close though. We're almost there.
We're not that close. It's still Chase for me. Pretty easily.
Etienne will get there.
Oh my. Scuba Steve took my advice. I think all of us said this. We're on board with this. Kept trading for first in my startup. Ended up with 10 23s and 5 24 first. Do I sell these when Rookie Fever hits next year, or use all the picks to draft a young team?
Stay open-minded.
Yeah.
You don't have to make this decision now.
No.
If you get good offers, make the trades. If you don't.
Do what Tyler, you hoard first round picks and
Often.
then you just wait. You wait
until the draft and then I try to move them. Yeah.
And you're just sitting there just waiting.
Yep. Yes, I become very popular for a short period of time.
Worst case scenario, you make all those picks, and especially if you have 10 first round picks in 2023, like if you had 10 first round picks in 2020, the likelihood that your team is Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, CeeDee Lamb, Jerry Jeudy, Justin Jefferson, like that could be your team.
Or it could be Clyde Edwards-Helaire, Jalen Reagor.
Maybe. I'm sure a few of those are gonna bust, but like if you hit on 50% of those, ranging from being a top 10 dynasty asset to just a solid like 4th or 5th round asset. Man, there are so many worse things that you can do. And
This is an unbelievable start. I pulled this off one time and the league folded the next year. It wasn't quite 10, but it was like 7 or 8. I was so pumped, and then the league folded. So hope that doesn't happen to you, Scuba Steve. Pato, would you trade Schultz for James Conner, or is there a running back that Pato should trade for?
I guess.
I don't think it's Connor.
I really
You're
would
not a
rather
fan of
not.
Connor.
I'd really rather not on Connor, but
I'm not a fan of Connor.
Yeah.
I like Connor. I feel like I've been a Connor apologist his entire freaking career. But I think the problem is that Connor there's nowhere to go for him but down.
Well, he's 27 already, so yeah.
Right. That's what, like, if you're trying to move Dalton Schultz right now for a running back, according ADP wise, AJ Dillon is 5 spots ahead of James Conner. I would much rather do that. That's probably not
those
possible,
two are not those two are not close in value.
I'm just saying
AJ Dillon is worth way more.
ADP wise,
I hear
James
you,
Conner
but
is after, or James Conner is before Elijah Mitchell. I would rather have Elijah Mitchell.
I'd rather have Elijah
Me too.
Mitchell, even now.
So, yeah.
Oh gosh. If you could get a pick on top of it, what about Ramondre Stevenson?
Oh, I would love it.
Oh, I'd love that.
Schultz for Ramondre plus. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Or I was going to say, could you get like Schultz plus for Kenneth Walker? So I feel like long term, if you already have Pitts, like long term, that's going to be a lot better.
That would be great. I mean, if you could trade
True.
like Schultz in a second for Kenneth Walker, I would love that.
Yeah.
Cecil Fielder, you guys are going head to head with Dynasty Trades in 5. 2 awesome shows. You guys are terrific. I don't know what is Dynasty Trades in 5. What is that?
That's Shane and Scott, and I'm so sorry, I forgot the third person. But they discuss Dynasty Trades.
Okay.
What the heck, guys?
apparently they're competing.
We've got to schedule this better. We could go back to back. How many of each position is ideal in a start 10, a PPR, Superflex, roster sizes 25, 3 taxi, load up on wideouts? Question mark.
No.
I mean, no, but I
wouldn't say load up. High end, yes. Roster more running backs than wide receivers.
3 to 4 quarterbacks. I'm trying to do math in my head. 6 to 7 wide receivers. 13 to 14. Nope, that's too much. Way too much. 3 quarterbacks, 6 wide receivers, 12 running backs. What was that? Leave you 3 tight ends? There you go. I did it.
I have no idea how many that is, but
I just don't think about it.
I trust Addison, so go with that. Let's see. 14-team Superflex was offered 106 and 23 third for my Hollywood, and 214. Likely looking at Wilson or Williams at the 6th spot.
I want Hollywood.
Well, that's awesome.
I mean, yeah.
You want Hollywood over Wilson?
Yep.
No, I'd rather have Wilson, but that's 214 is nothing. I guess if I could get Wilson there, I would rather that. But if it were Williams, I'd rather have Hollywood.
Definitely. If you don't know going in, Wilson falling to 106 doesn't seem likely to me.
No, doesn't to me either.
Depends. Somebody might have liked what Kenny Pickett did.
True. Randy stated Elijah Moore pre-Wilson getting dinged, 140 targets, 115 catches, 1,045 yards, 11 TDs. That's more than
that's very optimistic. It's
no,
very, very optimistic, right? I mean,
I'm gonna take the under on receptions and touchdowns.
Yeah, I'll take the under on everything.
Maybe I don't take the under on yards.
Maybe not on yards, but
I would have him probably around 85.
So if he had 115 catches, that would have put him third in the NFL in receptions last year. So I think not.
He's got the talent.
I am all for this, though. Let me just clarify.
No, I'm all for it, but this is ridiculous.
Randy, I will give you a standing ovation.
No,
if
I
this
think he
actually
got the
happens.
140 targets is not. It's a little high, but it's not ridiculous. Darnell Mooney had 140 last year.
Mhm.
I would say that's not crazy. The 115 catches is crazy. I would put him somewhere in the 80s.
I'd have him
The
130,
yards is not.
85, probably close to 1100 and 7 or 8.
Yeah, I think I'd have the
Awesome.
yards is actually about right. I'd probably have about 85 catches.
This is a weird
1,050.
yards per reception. Like this is like
Yeah, this is
mitigating
not- yeah, yeah.
his.
No,
big
I'd
play
have him
upside.
at about 85 catches for 1,050 yards, and then 11 touchdowns is kind of crazy. I'd probably put him at 7.
I wouldn't be able to stat like 3 wide receivers for double-digit touchdowns.
Yeah,
that's just a hard thing to predict. Is double-digit touchdowns?
I think the only wide receivers I would give double-digit touchdowns in a stat projection would be
Cup, Jefferson, Chase.
Cup and Chase. I'm not even sure I'd give Jefferson double digits. It's hard to do it. I'm not sure
So-
if I gave Jefferson double digits, I give him exactly 10.
It would have been Adams, but he's no longer on with Aaron Rodgers.
Jefferson had 10 last year, so I guess I could give him 10 or 11. Adams, I would not give 10.
Not now. I'm just saying he would have been if he was with Rodgers.
Did some quick math here on his
I don't
stretch
know who
between.
I'd give the most. It's probably Cup. Probably give Cup 13, 14.
Elijah Moore between week 7 and 13. That was his best stretch of the season, obviously, after the bye week and before he got hurt. And it would have, over a 17-game sample, would have been 137 targets, 85 receptions, 1145 yards, and 11 touchdowns.
So I was pretty good on the 85 receptions then.
Yeah.
We Tyler.
No, it was my idea first.
I believe I said almost that exact stat line minus the touchdowns.
Yeah.
Ed says Bellinger is decently athletic as well. Ed loves athletic tight ends. I think we all do. It just doesn't always work out as well as I would like it to. Otherwise, the number one tight end would be like Mike Gesicki and Alberto, right? Like those guys are probably more athletic than anybody.
It probably would end up being like some third stringer that nobody's really ever heard of. Would be
Yeah. I mean,
JJ
Evan Ingram,
pure athleticism.
Evan Ingram and David Njoku are very athletic.
Jaden Sharp 12 team Superflex tiered PPR. I'm in a 1 to 2 year rebuild. What should I do with Breece Hall? Should I hold or trade for future picks? And picks what would be fair?
No, I'd hold on to him.
I think this is a fantastic question because the general mantra is rebuild equals no running backs. But I feel like that's just the general. That's the mantra.
You build running backs last.
Right.
I'm fine with a 21-year-old running back though.
Me too.
Right. That's where the exceptions kind of come into play is when you have guys like Breece Hall, and I would probably include DeAndre Swift in that as well. And if you've been holding on to ETN for this long, possibly as well. But it's just those, and Javonte, I think would be the other one. They're worth throwing out there to see what happens because if somebody gives you a haul, that haul might help you out a lot more over the course of a 1 to 2 year rebuild than Breece Hall would. But if you're not getting that haul, that haul for haul, then it's not worth it.
Speaking of Hall, where does he stack up to the 23 class? Here we go. I'm going to do this way. We'll say Breece Hall or Bijan Robinson.
LOL.
Bijan Robinson.
Breece Hall or Jahmyr Gibbs.
Breece Hall.
I honestly don't even know who Jahmyr Gibbs is. So
from Alabama. Or Zach Evans, Tank
Hall,
Bigsby.
All
right.
It's too early.
Ask us later. Kid Coop update from last week took advantage of these Dynasty newbies and traded away Alec Pierce for a 23 first. What?
And Pickens.
And Pickens?
Wait. And a third.
No, he traded
Wow.
Pierce for a first and
I'm
Pickens
with
and a
you.
third for
All
two
right.
firsts, which is
Okay,
both. They're
we're
both
there.
crazy.
Too
They're
many.
both
hands.
crazy.
But yeah, we're there. Oh
No,
my
great
goodness.
job. Yeah, great job. Congratulations.
moly.
This brag post,
Nice
but I
job.
like it.
Chris Godwin or J.K. Dobbins?
Godwin.
12 teams, Superflex contending team offered 110, 201, and 204 for 102.
I mean,
102.
it's not bad, but I'll take 102 and
I
take
want London.
London.
Take London.
It's better than it was, though, because a lot of these lower players have been doing okay. So I'm more likely to like the package I get there, but I'll still take the 102 and take London.
How savage is a Lamar Andrew stack this year? 12 teams, Superflex, 1 PPR.
It'll be pretty good.
2 tight end premium? Nasty.
Yeah, 2 tight end premium, it'll be really good.
Oof. Yeah.
What typically wins in Superflex? Having the top RBs? No.
Quarterbacks win.
Quarterbacks score the most points.
The right quarterbacks.
Yeah,
You can-
top quarterback.
You are able to win if you correctly stream, but it's so hard. You need to have at least one of those guys for sure.
Yeah, you want to have a top quarterback.
Yep.
The cheapest quarterbacks are going to be in a Superflex is in the
Is in
startup draft.
Or
and
with
the rookie
Then
draft.
in the rookie draft. Trading for them is tough.
Very tough.
With Kyler Murray as my QB, I was offered Marquise Brown for my Bateman. Take it.
Take it. Run.
I have Brown higher.
Leave. Go. Right now. Just
Go do it. I love the projected early 2024 statements. No way
Yeah.
unless they have Mariota and Trubisky as their QBs.
Yep.
True.
It's hard to project 2024.
Louis G. How do you feel about Deontay for Bateman and a 23 first?
Bateman easily.
Bateman. Yeah.
Yeah, Bateman 23 first easily.
Holy moly.
Let's see. Does Pickens climb up the board with Wilson, London, and Burks?
No.
I think he's
No.
ahead of Jamal
It-
Williams
yes.
for me, though.
Yes.
Or
to the
Jameson
second
Williams.
question.
He's still not ahead of Jameson Williams for me, and I would cash out for the 23 first if I could.
Yep.
Definitely.
I don't know what this
Sam
is.
Magara. I don't know.
Don't know who that is.
Is that, do you know, are you a Pennsylvania guy there that know this?
No, I'm sorry. I
Skateboarder,
don't-
skateboarder
Oh.
apparently.
From the show Jackass.
Mm.
I've never seen it.
That's right in my
Sorry.
wheelhouse there.
Yeah, I don't know. Sorry.
Matt, thoughts on starting Michael Carter and starting Kenneth Gainwell?
Certainly can't start either one, but I'd rather have Gainwell, I
Gainwell.
think, in Dynasty because I feel like Gainwell has more of a route to opportunity this year. I mean, Sanders is
One of these guys is not competing with Brees Hall.
yeah, that's true. Gainwell.
Yeah.
Patty Mills has the 106 in a 12-man 1 QB startup. Start 9, PPR no premium. What should I be looking to acquire as I try to
So
trade back?
6 will probably be Swift or Harris. I'd be looking to go back all the way maybe to the late second and
Yeah.
acquire 23 first. So like if I could go 209 and a 23 first or so,
Mhm.
that would be what I would try.
Or a second and a fourth. You're in there.
That would be good too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be. Buy Kamara for late 23 first, 12 team Superflex. Team is top 4 probably. Have 6 23 first. Feel like this isn't a terrible way to spend it.
Oh, come on, FF Lefty. You know better.
It's not what I would do, even though I like. I
You've
think
been one of my patrons for so long. You know better. You know better than this. Don't do this. Come on.
Just because you have a surplus
Doesn't
of
mean you
picks
should.
does not mean you
spend
should
them.
light one on fire.
Yeah,
be
I'll
done.
keep the 23 first.
Yep.
Who that dude wants to know if you have 6 first. How do you even have a team
funny.
left?
It's called
and
tearing down.
obviously FF Lefty is also like doing pretty good. It seems
Yeah,
like
he is.
so top 4 team.
I know he's doing pretty good.
That's what happens when you have when you're a part of Tyler's Patreon.
Yeah, thank you.
Ed's
I
had
was
some
told
decent
that no one should ever charge anything for fantasy advice ever. So, that's what I was told. That
Hey, a Facebook question.
oh,
Yes.
finally.
Yo, Josh. David Montgomery or Travis Etienne?
ETN. Montgomery is falling out of my interest range.
Yeah, it's
I
sad.
bet Shane and them don't have a Facebook question. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
Well, the chat.
This is Etienne easily. Let's see. Thoughts on Wandale? Is his value a second?
It was always a second.
Yeah,
Don't.
maybe.
He was a smash in the third, though. I feel like he was falling a lot this year.
Oh, I have so much Wandale because of him in the third round. It is unbelievable.
Is he going to lead the team in targets this year, Tyler?
Yes.
No.
Who is?
Kadarius Toney.
Oh,
Might be Saquon. It might be.
I love Wandale.
I also really like Wando.
Wandale Elijah Moore Robinson.
I was just about to say something about that. 10 team, 1 QB, half PPR, Brady, Fournette, Etienne, Dobbins, DJ Moore, Jerry Jeudy, Gabe Davis, Mark Andrews, Pat Fryermuth, 423 first and 623 seconds. Don't like Dobbins. What picks could I add to trade him away?
So why don't you just add Dobbins to Gabe Davis? Yeah, exactly. To get something a little bit better. So I don't know. Could you get for Dobbins and Gabe Davis? Could you get T Higgins? DK Metcalf is more likely, probably. DK Metcalf.
Ooh,
Try that.
Man, I almost feel like I'd rather have Dobbins and Gabe Davis than DK.
Oh, I definitely wouldn't.
I think DK is the right answer, but
Well, then if you'd
hesitated.
rather it, then you can almost certainly get it.
I hesitated.
Yeah. Never hesitate. You'll end up
Dobbins
dead.
and Gabe Davis or Jalen Waddle?
yes, yeah,
Well, that would be even better, but
Mm.
I feel like that's unlikely.
Try that first.
We did it.
Try it, but I don't think you're gonna get that.
Ken Walker or Treylon Burks and a 23 second.
Now I'll take Burks in a
Burks.
second.
It was Burks in the second.
Yeah.
I
Always.
think I made an offer for Burks in every one of my leagues.
There was probably a moment where Rashad Penny was sitting out of camp and Burks was really down where I would have not done it, but now I'll take
That
Burks
was
in a
about
second.
3 days ago.
Yeah, that was
Yeah.
time
Things
moves
change
slowly sometimes. But let's yeah.
14 team, 1 QB keeper, full PPR. Keep Higgins for a 5th or ETN for a 15th.
5th is still a decent
Go ETN.
amount, so I'll take ETN
ETN.
for 15.
Let's see. 12 team, Campus to Canton, Superflex, tight end premium, Deontay or Akers and Jimmy G.
Acres.
Deontay
Yeah.
and Akers are essentially equal to me.
Right.
So
and
I'll take
I'll see what happens with Jimmy G and
I'll
a
take my chances with Jimmy.
Seemed like there's a report that came out just a few minutes ago that Cam Akers' injury is not considered serious. So
Good.
Sweet.
Good.
Rojo Fish, 12 man, half PPR, Superflex Dynasty startup. Which do you prefer? Burrow, Saquon, Higgins. Burrow, Mixon, AJ Brown. Burrow, Mixon, Saquon. Burrow, Higgins, Devontae.
I mean,
I hope
Probably-
you pick one of the Saquon ones.
probably Burrow, Mixon, AJ Brown. I want AJ Brown really bad. Yeah, Burrow, Mixon, AJ Brown.
Addison?
Could it be Burrow, Saquon, AJ Brown? I like the first two. So if you want to give me a point to go with Tyler's Burrow, Mixon, AJ Brown, you can.
I wish
Or
I could
if
go-
Cal agrees with me and wants Burrow, Saquon, Higgins, then you could go with that as well. I like those two.
So do I have to take Burrow first? I guess is the that's the part that I don't know that Burrow's good. I think Burrow's one of the most overdrafted people right now. And I think that
I
as an
agree with
LSU
you.
homer,
I agree with you. But if you have the 6th overall pick, I'm fine taking it. If that's
I'd like to
that's
go
how it works,
Burrow, Higgins, AJ Brown, if that's an option.
that would be
Holy
great. I mean,
crap.
that's obviously what I would want. But
I'll go with Tyler. Burrow, Mixon, AJ Brown. Final
That's
answer.
what I'd take.
Well,
too.
let's
Yeah.
go. Let's go. Unanimous.
Yep. Let's see. There we go. Jay Fran, 12 team Superflex, 6-point QB, TD passes, Trey Lance, Javante, or Swift.
Lance.
I'll take Swift.
And Superflex?
Yes.
Ooh, no, I want Lance.
I want Lance.
Jake from State Farm. Welcome, Jake. In a $300 budget salary cap Dynasty league, half point PPR, how much of the budget would you spend on Breece Hall? I only have Nick Chubb, so I need a running back. I have 131 max bid. This isn't I'm not super great with these kind of
This isn't a novel. This is
questions.
like 4 paragraphs short of the information I need to answer this question, and I don't even play auction leagues, so I probably can't help you.
Is it a 12-team Superflex maybe?
It's
Is that
not
what we're
that. It's
assuming?
just I'm not even sure I could answer this question on Twitter. Like this will be something maybe during my Patreon if you did DMs with me to explain this to me, like back and forth, and like we really
Yeah, I feel like I need more info.
Like that's, or this would be something great to put in my Patreon Discord because I have a lot of patrons who do a lot of auction drafts. But in terms of on a live show, I just don't. Auctions are not my specialty.
If it is a Superflex league, so I'm looking at the startup auction app on DLF. Fantastic.
I didn't know we had that,
by the way. And it basically gives you auction values and stuff based on ADP and rankings and whatnot. So if it's a Superflex league, Breece Hall is actually around $45 to $50.
Yeah,
since
but
he's giving me into the he wouldn't even be into the hundreds. If it was a 1 quarterback league, that raises up to closer to 60.
Okay.
So
I like it.
Range.
I think the best advice out of all of that was go check out the auction app.
There, you can do that too.
I think the auction app I don't think we're going to help you here. I think the auction app is going to help you more than we can.
Yep, I think that's good advice. Patty Mills, what's the price difference between George Kittle and TJ Hawkinson?
A couple rounds of value. I mean, I'm not adding a first to Hawk to get Kittle, but I would probably pay Hawk in a second for Kittle in every format.
I agree. Yeah. It just bumps you into that upper echelon. You might not like Kittle, but you could do more with Kittle himself. Like you can't pay Hawkinson in a second to get Andrews or Kelce or Pitts. But if you could do that to get to Kittle and then Kittle to get one of those guys.
Yeah, I think it's
ladders.
If I had Kittle, I'd probably need Hawk in maybe 2 seconds or even a little bit better. Or Hawk and a player I like better.
I don't feel like I'm going to Hawk if I've got Kittle.
I'm fine with it. It depends on it depends on what you can get. Like if I could
depends on the plus.
Like if I could get Hawk and something I liked, I might go for it.
Buy apple pie. 14 teams, Superflex, start 11. 2 tight end premium. Start 2 tight ends. Start 2 tight ends. Ooh.
Oh,
gross.
Boy.
Leave the league.
Side A, Pitts. I cannot imagine a scenario where I choose the other side.
You might.
In this format.
Read the rest of it.
Pitts, Fournette, Michael Thomas, Jacoby Myers. Okay. Side B is
so
Breece Hall, Garrett Wilson, Olave, McBride, 23 first and second. No, I still want Pitts.
I mean, to me, Garrett Wilson alone is worth the other 3 players. So even in this, we're really going to pay Hall, Olave, McBride, who's also worth significantly more than he would have been. A first and a second. We're going to pay all of that to get Kyle Pitts. That's a lot. Even in 2 tight end, that's a lot. I don't think I can do it. I think I have to take the Hall side.
Yeah.
I just can't do it.
I get it though. A 2
I get it. I absolutely
and you
get
start
it.
2. That like Pitts is
McBride. I mean, McBride is a first round pick. McBride
first overall pick in this format.
Oh, Pitts.
It's 14 team Superflex, so it's still no, it's not. No, it's not.
Josh Allen, then
Pitts. Josh Allen.
Yeah, right. I mean, he's pretty close. It's certainly the number 1 non quarterback.
But yeah, I mean, Tyler's right. I mean, you're getting Breece Hall,
it's just
Olave, McBride, and a first and a second.
Yeah, I guess. I don't know.
And you start 11 in here too. So all those extra play, like you're going to be able to start everybody on that Breece Hall side. And I'd rather start everybody on that Breece Hall side than everybody on the Pitt side. So you have that.
Yeah, I guess for
plus
this
you got
year,
the future equity in the first and the second. I know.
still want that.
I get it. I get it. But it just seems like so much.
It is really a lot.
Ian Dupree, 12 team Superflex PPR, start 10, received Drake London, 23 first, Isaiah Pacheco, Malik Willis, gave Russell Wilson, James Conner, KJ Hamler, 24 third.
It's a sick LeBron avatar picture though.
Man,
Yeah, it is.
I feel like Russ is probably the answer. As hard as that is, I'll take Russ.
Yeah. I think Russ alone is London in the first, right?
Or more.
That's kind of what I was
Or
thinking.
more.
Yeah.
So
or
then
more.
Connor for Pacheco
worth
and
more than
Willis,
that, yeah,
right?
so.
You know, and then you get a
Yeah,
free
it's the
third in
Russ
KJ.
side. It's I'm a little. It hurts, but it's the Russ side.
Yeah, I think
It
so.
is. Tyler wants the KJ Hamler side.
Yes. Small victories, Cal.
12 team Superflex, start 11, half point per first down, half point
Ooh.
PPR. What needs to be tacked on to the Garrett Wilson in order to ship out Brees?
We don't want to sell Brees. I want at least a 23 first. 24 first doesn't cut it.
Yeah.
I don't even know if I'd take that. I don't think I would.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Not again.
Especially with the points per first down. I feel like that is going to favor those running backs.
The point per first down heavily favors running backs a lot more.
Mm-hmm. So
Thanks,
it would
it's a
need to be
half
more
PPR.
than 23 first, I think is. I would do it for that though. Garrett Wilson and 23 first, I would do it. Greg got offered Antonio Gibson for David Montgomery in a 14-team Superflex PPR league. What do you guys think?
Montgomery. I don't want Gibson at all.
Montgomery.
Gibson or Tony Pollard?
Gibson.
Oh. See, the problem is I see the upside of Tony Pollard.
Uh-huh.
It's Gibson though.
I think it's still Gibson, but man.
Gibson
Stop.
or Clyde Edwards?
I'll
Clyde
take
Edwards-Helaire?
Gibson. Yeah, Gibson.
Gibson or Josh Jacobs?
Jacobs.
Ooh, okay. I feel like
Jacobs is in a better 3-person committee than Antonio Gibson is.
Kevin's in a 12-team win now. Superflex, start 9. Have Tom Brady, Ryan Tannehill, Mac Jones, Mixon, Eckler, Jacobs, Harris, Hill, Godwin, Robinson, Thielen, Pitts. Finished third last year. Most points. Still have a shot.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. Why not?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got Brady.
Yeah. This team is
So that's going to help. You got
Pitts will
2
help you.
top 10 running backs. You have 3 top 25 wide receivers.
Yeah.
Maybe. Pitts. You're there.
Can in Virgilio 26 cut Gronk and add Jonnu Smith?
Sure.
Yeah.
I have one league where I don't want to cut Gronk.
I don't think Gronk is coming back.
Yeah. I wouldn't really want to cut Gronk. But if you had to, I'd take John over Gronk.
Yeah, I don't think Gronk is coming back. I think Gronk
there's
is
a
done.
chance. If they're 10-0, Gronk's like, hey.
12-team Superflex. Pittman or Ken Walker in a 23 first?
Walker side. Yeah. Pittman is at this point, I think, worth a first on his own, but not worth much more if he is. So Walker in a first easily.
Right.
Yeah, so Pittman for 2 firsts in essence.
Oh, yeah. No, absolutely. I take first.
Does Pitts finish as a top 3 tight end?
I have him ranked at 3. So by that ranking, I would say yes.
No.
No? No. Yes.
Okay.
If he does, it's literally 3. So
it's just touchdowns for him.
What I mean, how many touchdowns are you projecting for a Marcus Mariota led Atlanta Falcons?
Yeah. It's not a bad point.
He's a teen digit passing touchdown player. So if they have 18 passing touchdowns and you divvy that up between everybody on the team, that's what I'm saying. If you gave him 4 more touchdowns of what he had last year, he's still barely cracking 200 fantasy points and still would have been the tight end 5.
As a person who couldn't buy an alcoholic beverage, though, he had a
sure, but
very
the
good
dude
rookie
has
season.
over 1,000 yards, and people are like, "Well, if he just had touchdowns," but like I'm saying, if you have the same season, give him 4 more touchdowns, he is still just the tight end 5. That's all I'm trying to say. And that was with Matt Ryan. And that was with over half the year without Calvin Ridley. If Drake London is going to be the alpha, he is that dude. I mean, by alpha, I mean alpha, the wide receiver. So like he's going to be a guy to take a lot of targets away.
Well, I think he also draws coverage away, which is going to help.
That's a whole debate as well too. But yeah, I mean, I could say Kyle Pitts is going to draw coverage away from Drake London. So
right. But I mean, that's good for both.
If Marcus Mariota can't get the Falcons past the 35-yard line, you're not going to be happy.
Marcus Mariota is so bad.
Could I keep one now? I want to say Bijan Robinson. That's Brian Robinson.
I know.
Take over mid-season.
I know
for them Commanders.
To be honest, Bijan could probably yes.
Yes, I mean Bijan would be better than anyone they have right now. In terms of, Brian Robinson taking over.
How about
I think Antonio Gibson is better. I think Antonio Gibson is better, but you think they're going to bench Antonio Gibson for Brian Robinson, or do you think it would take Antonio Gibson getting hurt, Brian Robinson coming in and being good, and then them not going back to Gibson? Because I think that's always possible. I mean, any running back, once they get outside of like a few guys, like once you get hurt, you don't necessarily get handed the job back.
It's fumbles. This is a Ronald Jones.
True. Yeah, this could be a Carson
situation.
A Carson situation where Carson goes down, and then you had. Remember, Penny was taking the job, and then he lost. He got hurt again. But there was a moment where he was taking the job.
I don't think this is a backfield we want anything to do with. I mean, McKissick is going to play. Carson Wentz is the quarterback. This is just not a running back room I want anything to do with. Like, don't go acquire Brian Robinson and trade him if somebody's going to give you something for him. 10 teams who reflects QB depth: Mahomes, Cousins, Tua, and Mariota. Do you think I should sell Cousins to get a stud running back or wide receiver?
Define stud.
I mean, what's a stud? Yeah.
If it is a stud, then yes.
Like Cousins for DJ Moore? Is that the level that we're at right now?
Good question. Define stud.
Baseline for stud. Because if it's like Cousins for Jalen Waddle, obvious answer. Cousins for Terry McLaurin,
Michael Pittman.
I'd probably keep Cousins, but
And 10-team Superflex though, I'd probably rather have Pittman over Cousins. Wouldn't you?
Yeah, the 10-team thing.
Because Tua is going to be a top 10 quarterback. I'm with you.
Right. Oh my God, no.
Exactly. We're here. We got there.
But it's easier to pick up a cheap quarterback in 10-team Superflex than it is.
You already have one, Marcus Mariota.
It's true.
Oh my God.
Who, if he runs as much as we think he might run, he actually he's going to be something.
He'd be like what Taysom Hill was last year.
Or Cam Newton had a top 5 quarterback week last year.
I think he had a couple. I remember playing him in DFS a couple of times, and he just dropped me 20 points. I'm like,
crazy as that is. Good night, Pato. Good night. Flowsaurus, 12-team, Superflex, 1 PPR, start 9. My tight ends are Freiermuth, Everett, Jonnu. Everyone's fading Muth and has been wanting to sell. Do not have my 23 or 24 picks. Should I tear down and get a pick? I'm competing.
I think you should. 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 If everyone's fading him, why do you want to sell now? That's not really a good time to sell, right?
I think it's hard to tear down from
This
Freiermuth
is
as
it.
well.
Yeah, no, just ride with him.
Mhm.
The talent hasn't changed. It's just that Pickens is emerging. That's all, and that's driving his value down accurately so. But I think it's been driven down too much. So I would have to hang on.
Yeah, it's hard to tear down because he's already on that borderline.
Look,
top
he was
10, so you
great
can't
for a
tear down and
rookie,
get a great
wasn't he?
pick.
I mean, he was great
He
for
was
a rookie.
Oh, he had a better rookie season
Absolutely.
than Kyle Pitts. So, did you see that? Tell me you saw that.
I did.
Did everybody
see
get that? Okay,
I
all right,
did
just
see
making
that,
sure
and I
just didn't say
laughed.
that.
I was like, really?
that.
Really? All right, whatever. Believe what you want to believe.
Would y'all trade Aaron Jones for AJ Dillon? PPR.
I think you should get something with Dillon.
I don't think you can.
I think you could.
I don't think you can.
It's not what I would
like
do.
it.
What can you get?
I
think AJ Dillon carries more value. No,
I was gonna say like a second, but you wouldn't be able to get a second pick. You'd have to get a player that is kind of valued in around there. Like if you told me I got AJ Dillon and Wandale, in money. That's what I'm looking for. I'd do AJ Dillon and Romeo Dobbs. It's not going to take much, but I just feel like you should add a little something to AJ Dillon.
I know the ADP says you should, but I think I would just make the move now while I could, instead of being picky about that, if that makes sense.
I'm with it too. I mean, yeah, I would take AJ Dillon, but yeah, I feel like
after a few weeks you're going to regret it. You're going to regret it if you don't do it. That's the thing. You're going to regret it if you don't do it.
Somebody in your league thinks Aaron Jones is going to have a top 10 season.
There are. I mean, there's a lot of people who think Aaron Jones is going to have a top 10 season. It's not. I mean, I can see why they would think that. I just don't agree. That's all.
So,
I just don't like these kind of. I don't usually like position for position trades, anyway. Much less position for position on the same team. Like this just feels.
You
weird
can try
to
to squeeze out the extra value.
Squeeze the Wandale.
Yeah. Go get DK Metcalf or something instead.
Well, that would be great.
One QB, full PPR, start 9.
Crushed it.
Gave Kareem Hunt and the Muth for Elijah Moore. Yeah,
crushed it.
Great
crushed
job.
it. Elijah Moore easily.
Yeah. Do this trade if you have Pat Freiermuth.
Yeah.
James Flatley, 12 team, 1 QB, full PPR, Dynasty League, traded Swift. Get back 23 first, 23 second, Chase Edmonds, and then my choice of the following: Judy, Bateman, Godwin, or Olave.
Godwin.
Yeah, do it with Godwin. Take Godwin and then do the trade.
How close is it?
That's what I would do.
Between Godwin and Judy. I think it's pretty close.
Semi.
Not that close.
I would say probably
Godwin's proven a lot more.
A second-ish.
Yeah. I think Godwin is the right call here, but yeah. Trade value is very similar on a lot of sites. Talking about Aaron Jones and AJ Dillon. Yep. So with that, great show, guys. You did it.
We did it. And look what number we ended on.
Oh my God.
Great job.
Come on.
All right. Thanks everybody tuning in. We will see you guys on the next show. Have fun and go make